Thank you, Stephen. You're a good moderator. I can sense that already.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the panel on building and scaling products for emerging markets. I have with me Maureen Ada-Leonard, and Michael Lawal will be joining us as soon as he can. I'm speaking from Bali, Indonesia, where I'm patiently waiting to return to Europe as co-founder and director of the Qoin Foundation, which is a Netherlands-registered nonprofit monetary design consultancy that works with governments at all levels to design local and urban and regional parallel currency systems to achieve a wide variety of environmental and social impact outcomes. Maureen Ada-Leonard is speaking to us from Lagos, Nigeria. Maureen has well over 18 years of corporate experience in the financial sector and the insurance subsector specifically. She is presently the founder and managing partner of EtiNard Consulting Limited. Maureen is a speaker, writer, trainer, and life coach. She is also highly involved in women's development and gender initiative programs that empower and educate women. EtiNard Consulting provides management consulting, training, and advisory services to companies and brands that are seeking to enter the Nigerian market. So hello, Maureen, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Stephen. Good afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria. How are you doing?
I'm just fine. Thank you very much. Yes, good afternoon to you. So before Michael joins us, let's just go to some questions about this issue. You know, many countries are no longer dependent on the international development sector for support and are able to implement their own domestic development programs, such as in Nigeria or where I am in Indonesia. And many emerging market economies have clearly started to stand out as being worthy locations for investment. Many companies attending the Wolf Summit are developing and scaling products for emerging markets and would benefit from your knowledge and experience. So I think it would be great if you started the discussion by describing to us what an emerging market is.
Thank you once again, Stephen. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. The term emerging market is the term or the brand given to developing nation. So emerging market economy are those nations that are actually in transition from developing to become a developed nation. Location, being one of such region, and Nigeria specifically. Now, Africa can no longer be ignored because of the vast population that we have, and also the multicultural diversity that we have in the nation. So the discussion is no longer why Africa, but when and how do we enter into the emerging market. Now, you also know that emerging markets are those markets that are poised and are welcoming to the global market to come in and invest. However, investing in such nation requires a lot of skills, it requires a lot of knowledge, it requires you to know the nuances and the cultural diversity and interest in where you are investing. So emerging market is a market that speaks opportunity, is a market that speaks growth, is a market that speaks to the fact that they are ready to take that predictable progress from where they are to where they should be.
That's fantastic. So what I hear you saying is that understanding the diverse culture, the way of life and demography of the population in Africa, or in Nigeria in particular, is essential to designing products that are successful in those markets. Isn't that right?
Absolutely, Stephen, absolutely. Africa or Nigeria specifically cannot be a one-size-fits-all because, like I said, we are diversity in culture is our strength. So we have very diverse culture and way of life. If you know, we all know what culture is. Culture is way of life. Now you need to understand the cultural biases of this nation and of this region for you to particularly know the brand that will scale and how it will scale in this region. So culture is a thing that has come to stay in Nigeria, and we embrace it with all sincerity. And it's also welcoming that people that want to gain entrance into this market get to understand the cultural biases, the cultural interests, so that they can connect with the people better than normal.
Yes, but it seems, however, that many companies that are building products for emerging markets think that they just can come to Nigeria and open up a business, go to Malaysia or to Philippines, or to another country, and just open up a business and run it just like their business in Europe or in North America, and not really give much consideration for Nigerian culture or ways of doing business or any other culture. And we think when we look at examples like Facebook or Instagram, for example, they're exactly the same from country to country and don't give much consideration for bias. So could you tell us more about how important it is? I mean, how does it make you feel, for one? Have you had these kinds of experiences of technology from outside of Nigeria not being aware of the specific demographics of Nigeria and how that can affect the way that their business is operating there?
Okay. Now, there's some specific business model that might not suit the Nigeria environment or the Africa environment. However, there are some business model that is generalistic in approach that can just, suit one. But there are some specific that might not. Okay, now, if you talk about, you mentioned Facebook, so it's safe for us to use Facebook as a model. Now, Facebook has gained entrance into the Nigerian market, and they are enlarging and they are scaling up. But it took years of trying to understand the demography and how to connect with a brand. Okay, now you know that in Africa, 40% of our population are young and vibrant. So that's the number speaking to you. So if you're talking about young and vibrant economy or nation, you should be thinking about product that will suit them. So it took years of understanding of Facebook to gain entrance into the Nigerian market and working with the locals here and working with consulting firms and embarking on a series of training programs through the indigent companies of consulting organization here in Nigeria, because you can't take the knowledge away from those people that are already here in Nigeria. They understand the terrain, they understand the language, so they will be speaking from an informed point of view and giving international organization gaining entrance those knowledge and training them on those nuances and those specialty that they need to consider in designing their product. So in answering your question specifically, now it depends on products. It's going to vary from product to product. You might be lucky if your product, from a general business point of view, scales through. That might be for tangible product, but there's some specific product that should connect. And in connecting, knowledge is absolutely important. The way of life of the people is also important, so that there will be connection and you will have a profitability of your product at the end of the day.
Right. So, do you have some experiences that maybe you can give us of efforts by companies to enter the Nigerian market that did not succeed or ran into difficulties and had to change their model in some ways in order to be more effective in the Nigerian market?
Absolutely, but I'm not going to call brands. Okay, now I did mention. Okay, so I did mention the demography of the market, of the African population and Nigeria specifically. Now, the thing about everybody loves connection. The African youth loves connection. They love you to connect. Now, if a brand is trying to gain entrance into the market and you are not connecting with people and you are not connecting with the local, and there's this kind of inferiority complex in your product and in the way you interact with people, is going to boomerang at the end of the day. Okay, so it comes to the know. If you're talking about brand equity, we should also talk about brand empathy. Your brand, the emotional part of your brand should be the part that connects with first your team members and with your environment. I'm yet to see a business model that has embraced that has failed. But if you come without giving due consideration, I keep talking about, coming in with partnership or whatever business model with people that understand the terrain. It's safer for you because you're looking from an informed point of view. But if you feel that, oh, your product is superior, or you're coming from a developed nation, and you just expect people to kind of embrace and accept your product, there've been one or two brands that had that approach and did not make it at the end of the day. Suffice it to also say that the Nigerian people are very sensitive people. They have great instincts, so they can actually read moods from afar. They know a brand that has some element of non-connection. Just from the way the brand or the brand speaks to them. So what I'm saying in effort, connection, engaging, and speaking the language of the people is what matters for emerging product to scale through in the African markets.
Great, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So as you work in women's empowerment, do you feel that there's some issues with the product and the market fit? And like, do men use a lot of technology products different than women, do you think? And do you find that companies that are coming to Nigeria are doing enough to address the different ways in which technology is being used by men and by women, and perhaps even being misused? Often in the case it's by men against women. And so do you have examples like that you could share as well, or anything that comes to mind in that area?
Yeah, talking about the women empowerment, we know, like it's been said, you train a woman, you're training, a nation. So our women empowerment program encourages the development, the education, and the empowerment of every woman in all ways, be it technology, be it in professionalism, be it in entrepreneurial growth. So we want to ensure that every woman, because naturally speaking, women are empathic. So it is that empathy that they carry that they are able to scale through and to sell through. Okay. So if you're designing a product for a woman, you should bring empathy to bear, because that is just how they are wired up. So if you're designing a product for a woman, there must be that empathic element of your brand that suits them. Now, men on the other hand, you can call them the hard sell, with no offense, men, hardcore. So there's some product that might be too sissy-ish, you get what I mean, in nature to men. So there's some hardcore brand that will connect more with men than with women. However, there's some other brand that is generalistic in approach that can connect with both gender, that can connect with both men, and that can connect with both women. But educating the woman to rise up to a challenge and embracing this technology and professionalism is what our initiative aims to achieve.
Fantastic, thank you. So now that we can switch this to market that you feel that have set very good examples that maybe research or study into how to enter Nigeria or into another emerging.
There's some technical glitch. Stephen, could you please take that question again? Can you hear me? Stephen, can you hear me? Okay, if I get your question correctly, I think you were asking to the fact that what the brand examples of a brand that can scale up in the African market. Okay, like I said before, any brand that is making an entrance into the African market, so a new terrain, of course, knowledge is absolutely important. And how do you get to know knowledge? Is you start living in the country that you want to come into, or you go into strategic partnership with organizations who are already living there. Okay, so that's an easy way to scale through. If you are able to achieve this, get one or two organizations that have that already have their holding in the local country, they already have the understanding in the local country, that can be, a step in the right direction for you. Locate such organization that can give you the situational reports of where you're going to invest, that can help you understand the cultural diversity of where you're going to invest, and also advise you on the kind of products. Like if you have more men or more women in that region, then you should be developing some kind of sensitive products in that regards to both gender. So if you're emergence into the African market takes a lot of, you cannot swim in every water. So it takes skills, it takes knowledge, it takes partnership, and it takes decisiveness to win in that market.